Hey, this is Nick, aka The Weiler, here for the Deadly Operative Grunts Show.
The Deadly Operative Grunt Show! Oh, yeah.
Alright, thank you for joining us on the Deadly Operative Grunt Show. On today's show, we're going to be talking about shovelware and how much we hate it and how much it ruins the gaming industry. And in dog watching, we're going to be talking about the cure for wellness. Dogs at Play, we're going to be talking about the new Horizon Zero Dawn, PS4's next big, epic exclusive. Super excited about it. But first, let's get some post-week news. It's time to get pwned. Alright, well, in post-week news, we have Call of Duty's next game will go back to its roots. And so, essentially what this means is they're carrying on the rip-off train, and now they're ripping off Battlefield. First they had to rip off Titanfall, and now they're ripping off Battlefield. I mean, I think we've made it pretty clear here at Deadly Operative Grunts, we're not super hyped about Call of Duty, and I mean, for good reason. They've all been very much the same, and you know, I think especially after Titanfall, when they kind of took the reins and like, oh, now we're gonna do stuff like that, it was kind of just like a little bit egregious. And now, since they're going back to the roots, and they heavily implied that that meant World War II. They didn't come out and say it, but they kind of heavily implied that. And so that kind of makes me a little pissed off because, you know, just come up with something original, you know. And I think the main thing that makes Call of Duty so kind of tedious is that it's just over and over again, it just keeps doing the same thing. So if we're going to go back to the roots, then that means go back to a good game. Netflix announces Castlevania series. So this actually seems really cool because obviously we can all attest to the fact that video game movies just aren't that great. The most common complaint is that, you know, you're taking like a 6 to 20 hour plot and try to cram it into a 1.5 to a 2 hour movie. And that just doesn't work. It's like trying to take a whole season and cram it into one movie. I'm looking at you, Avatar. So this actually really excites me because Netflix originals have been knocking it out of the fucking park. They have been absolutely awesome. And now it's taking a genre that I absolutely love. And you know what? If they don't follow the storyline, that's okay, because we can still have it in the Castlevania universe. But now, instead of having an hour and a half, which is, come on, what most of the video games are, they're an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, maybe 2 hours. But now we have like 6 hours, 8 hours, you know, depending on how long each episode is. If they give us, you know, up to 10 episodes, it could be 10 hours. That could be a real freaking game, and we could get a real good story about it. So in the comments below, let us know, what is your top 10 games you would like to see as a series, and we'll do a top 10 Tuesday for that. Moving right on, we have Nintendo wants to release 2 new mobile games next year, or I guess technically this year, with the success of Mario Run and the somewhat success of Fire Emblem on the mobile. They want to keep that going, and I mean, this is kind of cool. Mario Run, I can't wait for it to come out on the Android, and this is just really a good way for them to kind of capitalize on that nostalgia and do it in a way that I think speaks to the kids of today. And, you know, there's nothing really wrong with that. And, you know, as long as their quality stays up here and they're not just trying to push out shovelware, we're going to talk about that, I think it's going to be really cool. The new update of PlayStation 4, you can finally use an external drive. This is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to go out and get like a terabyte drive just so I can actually fit all my games onto my PlayStation 4. Anytime anything new comes out, I pretty much have to play the which one of you do I hate the most game and figure out what I'm going to delete so I can fit whatever it is. Because God forbid if you have a freaking disc, you still have to download the entire effing game onto your system. So at least now with being able to have an external drive, it just makes me so ecstatic. Moving right on, Infinity War from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They just put out a trailer. They didn't show anything else than like concept art, but what we did get to see was Chris Pratt.
I thought it was Pine.
Star-Lord. We got to
No, it is Pratt.
Is it? Chris Pratt.
Pratt or Pine?
Pratt. You know, it's your fault for picking a name close to somebody else's Chris, okay? That's all I'm saying. Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. Of course I got those names right. But we got to see them all together talking about how excited they are about starting filming. Because that's really all that's happened, is that they've started filming. And so you kind of got to look at like the different sets they'll be doing. A lot of the executive producers were talking about how big of a production they're trying to make this so that it's unlike anything ever before. I'll make sure to put that in the link below. It's actually a pretty cool watch. And it's just nice to know that it's started, because it's like, it just means it's that much closer. I'm super excited for Infinity War. And finally, I have just 5 words for you. And I would like you to go ahead and sing along with me at home. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. Bill Nye Saves the World. They put out the trailer for it. It is coming out on April. And obviously, just like any other Netflix series, which Netflix, you're hitting it out of the park, guys. You're hitting me right where it counts. I mean, who didn't learn how, condensation worked from Bill Nye? Who didn't learn about how molecules move around from Bill Nye? I'll tell you who. Frickin' millennials! You damn dirty apes! We love you. Please stop. Just keep watching. Anyways, I'm super excited. They didn't really show off that much, other than the format is kind of like a normal Bill Nye show, but it's done in front of a live studio audience, so that just means he can get them involved, and they'll laugh and they'll cheer for everything that happens. So I'm totally cool with that. So I mean, that's it for our post-week news. Up next, we're going to be doing our Spitfire review. This is a new segment we'll be trying out. Alright, so this is a new segment I want to try out called Spitfire Reviews, and that's just where we can take something and just do a really quick review of it, other than, like a long formatted one. I mean, obviously those take a little bit more time, so at least this we can just give you a basic idea of what to expect and, our recommendation for it. So our very first ever quick Spitfire, I better get the name right, our very first Spitfire review is How to Survive 2. I don't like it. All it had to do is take the first game and make it better, make more of it, give me more to do, but instead what I got was an absolute travesty. And the funny thing is that it's been out for like 3 years and it's still this bad. So let's see. Some of the things that changed were just so insignificant. It's like, why did they change it? For instance, you used to be able to do a charge attack. You can do that in this one, but you have to stay still. In the first one, you could do a charge attack. You'd move a lot slower, but you could charge up and then do that. Whereas now you have to basically plant your feet, charge, and then do it. And it's just so stupid that I don't see why they did it. Another feature they have is that you can see through objects. So like if you go inside a building, you can see through the walls. If you're in a woods, you can see through the trees. What makes this absolutely stupid is that it's just a circle around your guy, and you can just see through that circle. Now, most isometric RPGs like this, when you go inside a house, it just cuts the roof off, which is very intuitive. You still get a feel of everything, but it doesn't look so goddamn cheap. And there's certain objects that no matter what, you can't see through them, so that it actually obstructs your view. And also, it's pretty much Fetch Quest Simulator 2017. Although I guess it came out in 2015, so Fetch Quest Simulator 2015. So let me tell you, just real quick, the couple of quests you have at the beginning. Very first quest, go kill 5 zombies and collect 2 herbs as a secondary. Next quest is go find a DIY store and collect all these things on the side. Third one is you meet a guy, or you want to go to a farm and you meet a guy and he wants you to kill 30 zombies. Next one is you go and you find some more stuff. Next one is you meet a guy and he wants you to kill 10 coyotes. I could go on and on, but why bother? Because that's the freaking game. So overall, it is just terrible. And I don't have any problem awarding How to Survive our very first ever burn. Burn this freaking game. I unfortunately bought it, so I'm screwed and it's on my hard drive. And even if I delete it, it'll be in my history forever. Moving right on, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick Spitfire review of For Honor. Now, I played the beta. I haven't played the full game. But let's face it, the beta ended 2 days before the game came out. It's the freaking game. There's nothing they can change substantially that will make it better or worse. So I'm pretty confident that I know pretty much everything that's going to be in it other than maps and people. So I love it. It is a really good game. The best way I can describe it is pretty much like Dark Souls, but competitive. Because unlike certain like hack and slash games where you can kind of just go up and try to do a barrage of like sword slashes, this is a lot more methodical. You really have to think about not only what kind of attack you're going to do, a quick or a strong attack, but from what direction, up, down, or up, left, and right. And you can also block up, left, and right. And so you have to be really good about that. The classes they all feel way different. They all feel very distinct from each other. They have different abilities. Not only that, but every single one of them has a different weapon. You have to get to know that weapon. You have to get to know how fast does it swing? What kind of attacks does it have? And so that's another reason I really feel like it's like Dark Souls. And that's a good thing, just so you know. And I see this having a huge esport following. I really hope that the community stays with it and we get an esport out of it, because it would be fun to watch. This would be a game like Rocket League. Rocket League is super fun to watch because it feels like a real sport. This game, because it's kind of like a Street Fighter where there's 1-on-1, there's also 2v2, and then the MOBA-esque mode is called Dominion, and you have 4v4, and you're actually trying to control areas. That's my favorite mode, and that I think would be a good way to like end a PvP match. So maybe you start off with the 4v4 elimination, and then the last match is like the best out of 3 out of 5 Dominion. So you have to make it past the elimination or get good enough points or something to even make it into Dominion. I think it could be really cool. So I'm gonna award it a must buy. So we're going with both sides of the spectrums on that. So, I mean, that's it for the Spitfire reviews. Let me know what you think about it. Have you played these games? Do you agree with me? Let us know in the comments below. Up next, we're going to be doing Dogs at Play with Horizon Zero Dawn. Hey, this is Nick from the Deadly Operative Grunts show, and when I want a place to go hang out, drink some beer, play some old school arcade games, I go to Spacebar Arcade in downtown Boise. Check them out, and don't forget to tell them that the Deadly Operative Grunts sent you. Hello and welcome to Dogs at Play. Today we're going to be talking about the new exclusive for PlayStation 4. If you don't know this, obviously most of us have a PlayStation 4. We do have a new guy, and he's doing some Xbox stuff for us. Kevin actually has an Xbox One, so I mean, good for him.
It's building slowly.
It's keeping up. It's the PlayStation 3 of consoles.
Yeah.
So anyways, Horizon Zero Dawn has robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, robot dinosaurs, robot everything, pretty much.
Right.
Looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw this, I mean, first off, when they first showed it, it showed Gorilla, so we're like, oh, a new kill zone, that's cool. But then all of a sudden, it like slowly starts to it does like the story cinematic at first, where it's like, you know, kind of setting up, you know, the universe that we're in at this point. And so we're like, okay, what is this? There's a bunch of old buildings, and it looks like, you know, it's like hundreds of years after man has like died off or whatever. Okay, oh no, they're people, okay, and they have spears. It's like, I think that's one of the things that interests me the most, is like the concept of like going so far forward in time, you actually end up like going back.
Yes, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, it's like time just restarted in a way.
Yeah. I mean, you see it in like Futurama when Fry gets knocked into the freezer, first episode.
Yeah.
And so it shows everything changing outside, and it's like castles get built, and then the UFOs shoot them down, and then they get built up again. And
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it has that concept where it's like, basically there's gonna have to be a reset button, you know, and so that reset button was, I'm assuming either Skynet or the agents.
Sky agents, probably.
Sky agents. So, I mean, I'm thinking maybe that'll be one of the mysteries you'll be able to uncover, is exactly, you know, maybe how this all started or whatever. And the cool thing about it will be is that it'll be spoken as if it's like urban legend. It's like long ago when the robots first came to us.
Yeah, and they even call them machines, so they know that they are machines.
Right. So they have that concept, and obviously we haven't devolved so much that it's like
like Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, right, yeah. I mean, they get so... Well, and I think that might be more because, like, we were their slaves, and so we were treated so poorly that, you know, we didn't... Anytime we would talk, they'd be like, don't speak to me!
Yeah.
Whereas here, it does seem like there's at least, you know, pockets of survival, and so just the whole concept is just fucking fascinating.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've actually know of a game out there quite like it yet.
Yeah. I mean, they just had Far Cry Primal, but that's real life animals, and it's a
cave.
Yeah,
and cavemen. So
cavemen. So I mean, it's maybe the same concept, and I think that's what will make it so unique. Is that there might be other games out there that have dealt with like the caveman era, or even you know, bow and arrows and crossbows and stuff like that. So there are plenty of games out there that are like that deal with that kind of stuff, but then they take it and they flip it in such a way to really make it its own. And I mean, that's what's going to be just so engaging about this, is just, you know, I've never seen anything like this, you know, even in, like, the first time I saw it, I actually was like, okay, so this is what happened after iRobot. They become sentient, you know, the very end of iRobot, you know, what's his face is up at the top of the hill, and they're all just kind of congregating.
Smith, you mean?
No, the robot, Sonny.
Oh, okay.
Sonny. So Sonny's up at the top of the hill, just like his dream, you know, so there's a lot of symbolism there. But anyways, I'm like, how funny would it be if, like, this is the future of iRobot? So you have all the human-looking robots, and they got together, and they realized, oh, no, we're really bad people, and so maybe they start trying to make their own community, and something goes wrong somewhere because they're making, pretty much dinosaurs, and it's just like, it becomes the iRobot / Jurassic Park, and they take over the world.
And that's what I'm interested in, is like, because usually, we humans, we build androids, something that resembles us, and from what I've seen, there's nothing like that. They're all resemble animals or extinct dinosaurs or something, or insects, because there's that, what they call it, the shell breaker or something that looks like a big spider that has a big old thing on his back.
Yeah. Like maybe kind of crab-like, because it takes stuff and then puts it in its back. So it's like maybe like what are those crabs called with the little shell on them? The
hermit crabs?
There you go. Yeah. Maybe it's something like that. Like that's what they're imitating. So yeah, it'll be interesting if we will come across any humanoid androids, and like those were the creators, and then maybe the animals came up against them, and so maybe there's only like one left. Yeah. And you go on a quest and you find that one android. He's all like, "It was all my fault. I'm the one who flipped the switch," or something like that.
He's the one that's corrupting them all.
Yeah.
On accident.
Right.
So, yeah.
It would be really interesting. I could see like a twist where like you go to defeat the last guy, and then instead of blood, it's like, the milk.
The milk blood.
At least it's not the blue milk. I mean. But anyways, the whole concept of it, and plus the fact, I think another really intriguing thing is that it comes from Guerrilla. So like I said, I thought it was going to be another Killzone, but instead it's an open world RPG.
Action RPG. It has all kinds of stuff in it.
Right.
Crafting.
Right, crafting. So, I mean, you definitely get a little hints of, like, Far Cry, like I have mentioned before. But what makes that so intriguing is that we know Guerrilla can make a good game. They did it with all the Killzones. All the Killzones were really good games. It's just, besides the very last one, which actually wasn't done fully by Guerrilla, which is like Shadowfall, thank you. So that has open areas, but the whole thing itself isn't open. It's still very linear. You go from like a big open area, and then the next segment is, okay, here's a corridor, you gotta go and shoot a bunch of people. And obviously Killzone 1 through 3 was very much, there might be a big corridor, or an arena, so to speak, like in Doom, where you go into one arena and you can attack different ways, but it's pretty much just, you're still going in a very straight line. So for them to go from something so simple, keep it simple, stupid, keep going from something like that to just something so out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
So, that is another reason why it's so intriguing. And you can tell just by watching all, like they have different development diaries, and, you could tell they put a lot of, just looking at it. If you muted it, and you just didn't even listen, you just looked at it, you could tell they've spent so much time on this. And the lore is going to be fascinating, the characters are going to be fascinating, God.
It's definitely a step above Killzone, you know. Killzone, it's shoot 'em up, go to the next stage, shoot 'em up, go to the next stage. It did have story into it, but, just like almost every first-person shooter, the story's always lacking.
Right.
And so,
Half-Life had a story.
Yeah. So for them to go to something like this where, like Killzone, you got maybe 8 to 10 hours of gameplay, and then that's the story mode, and then then you got unlimited multiplayer as long as you want to keep playing it, to something where it can go, I would assume, 40 to 60 hours,
right?
Depending on how open world it is. It's definitely a step, I believe, in the right direction, and something that I'm definitely looking forward to playing.
Oh yeah. One of the cool things is it kind of does maybe an open world trope, so to speak. where you have to like climb a tower and that reveals the area.
Yeah, the long necks.
The long necks,
tall necks, something like that. Yeah.
But that's what's kind of cool. It's not a tower; it's a moving, living creature.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still kind of the same thing where it's almost like a little platforming puzzle that you have to try to figure out, okay, there's the next ledge I can jump to, and then you unlock the area. But I think that's just what makes it so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make me wonder how will they do it like on the mini-map. Like it can be in this area, so you have to go to this big circle and just like look for it. That would be cool. I hope they don't show me exactly where it is.
And I wonder if you'll have, because I know you have, because once you find it, you have to do something, and then you have to climb on something to climb onto it in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if you can climb trees and cliffs just so you can get a better surrounding. Mm-hmm. Like how far of a depth of vision that you'll be able to have for a game like this.
Oh God, yeah.
Be able to see something like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, so good. I mean, so let's talk about the story for a little bit. From what they showed at the trailers. There's like a rival tribe and they're corrupting the machine, so they're kind of making it go on their side. And so, I mean, that definitely, I think, will open it up to an interesting avenue, because obviously before it's like they're just trying to survive, whereas now it's like it's malicious, there's intent behind it.
Yeah, possible war brewing. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you thought it was bad before. Now it's like someone's controlling them. That it's gonna be really cool.
And it seemed different too, because when she was, and I can't remember her name, started with an A. Alora. When she was fighting or attacking a normal, I guess you would say, machine or animal, there wasn't any signs of like it was actually being hurt, I guess you would say, like it would hit it, and there was no oil or blood, I guess you would say, spraying out. But when she was attacking a corrupted, I've noticed on several occasions that there was some sort of blood and or oil, I guess you would say, spewing out everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a black smoke.
To me, it looked more liquid.
Oh yeah? Okay.
It seemed like it was spraying more than misting.
That's kind of cool.
So it makes me wonder, like, I mean, like, if they're controlling them, are they like, what does that symbolize? Are they becoming more alive?
Right.
when they're becoming corrupted, or
more like bioorganisms rather than just sentient beings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bio machines. Mm-hmm. There's a term for it. I don't know, but yeah.
Definitely. Definitely super interesting. I like how everything you use is basically made out of parts that you've scavenged off of all the different dinosaur rubids. Mm-hmm. So you have like your bow and arrow. It looks like there's like a part of it. Some of the armor, like your shoulder pieces, look like it was just ripped off of one of the dinosaurs, and things like that. And not only that, but then there's like headdresses and just everything just looks so... It looks authentic. It looks like, guerrilla warfare, because like they have to take what they can. And then not only that, but the whole crafting system, depending on what animal you kill, will also help you get like explosive fire arrows and stuff like that. And then obviously you can... I wouldn't say corrupt, but you can turn them to your side. You can hack them, yeah. Hack, there you go, thank you.
You can hack them.
So then you can actually ride them, which might seem a little bit like Far Cry, but I don't really see that as a bad thing. I think this has been going on for so long. They might have seen Far Cry 3, where you could, get on certain animals or whatever.
On the, what is it, 3? 3 wasn't the one with the elephants, was it?
That might have been.
That was...
No, it might have been 4. So, I mean, Far Cry 3 might have been out when they first started, so I highly doubt that they saw Far Cry 4 and they're like, oh, now we have to do that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure from the very beginning, they're like, how cool would it be, you know, riding on a, you know, robot buffalo?
Yeah. Yeah. Big old steer or whatever that thing was.
Yeah. I mean, I can't stop talking about it. It just looks so good. I definitely want to play it. We're definitely going to do a Let's Play, maybe a review of it. Are you excited for it? Let us know in the comments below. And
there's one thing I do want to tell you,
go
say, because the main thing that I'm looking forward to it is that they actually have conversation choices.
Yeah, like an RPG, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually going to bring that up myself.
I haven't seen something like that since Dragon Age Inquisition. Mm-hmm. And it's been way too long, because I absolutely love having choices on what to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not even Elder Scrolls do that, so I'm really looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. It gives you your character, you know, it can even bring yourself into that character by the choices that you make. And I wonder, by changing your choices, will it change the story at all, or how it, you know, plays out?
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be like a Paragon or Renegade kind of situation like there was in Mass Effect. Mm-hmm. But not only that, but I hope that it has tangible repercussions. You know, if you can either decide, like, I think the best example, because I'm gonna go old school on you guys, but I think a really good example is like Dino Crisis, very first one. You can either go with Gary or you could go with like Rick, and so actually by doing that, it completely changed how you took on a situation. So sometimes if you went one way, you'd end up having to like double back and do the other thing anyways. But now it would be harder, you know, and things like that. I just hope they do stuff like that, because when they have a Paragon and Renegade, that's fine, and it's like, oh, you know, instead of people being nice to you, they're a little dickish to you or something like that. It's like, I really want it to be tangible. You know, I don't want it to be, you know, just something that just, I mean, it's nice to put myself in, and I like that, but I want there to be real world implications to what I'm doing. I want there to be gameplay, you know, like maybe instead of getting like a flame arrow, I get an explosive arrow, and I'll get the flame one eventually, but it's down the road, you know, something like that.
Yeah, that would be nice to see.
So let us know if you're excited for it in the comments below. Up next on Dog Watching, we're going to be talking about a cure for wellness. Thank you for joining us still, or again, or more, depending on if you clicked on the full episode or the segment. Dog Watching, we're going to be talking about a cure for wellness. So, I mean, this looks really cool. It has the Green Goblin. I mean, so this must be before he got sick and came back to New York.
Yeah.
Became friends with Peter Parker, and then became sane again. So, I mean,
cure didn't work.
They did not. So what was your overall impressions of the trailers you got to see for it?
It looks interesting.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I was watching it, I didn't know any of the actors or actresses in it. But you said that was the Green Goblin in it. Is that the main character?
Yeah, the main character. He played the Green Goblin in the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay, see, and that's how much I know about that guy, because I didn't even recognize him. So
yeah. It
looks like it's a bunch of British actors and actresses that I don't know, but the movie, you know, looks sort of akin like Shutter Island.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
with Leonardo DiCaprio, and so it looks very interesting, to say the least. That is the least. Yep, that is the least about it. I don't know what else to say. Go on.
I do like the look of it. I think it is interesting to get this now rather than like maybe a couple months ago, because this looks, as far as the performances and the cinematography is concerned, it looks like this could have been a contender for at least like one of the awards for cinematography. You know, but it's coming out in February instead, so I don't know what that says about the movie, because, I mean, like, January is always really bad movies. I don't know about February, if it's usually...
It's a love story. Somewhere it's going to be a love story.
Right. with the girl with all the slugs in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you bring up Shutter Island, and yeah, it gives me, like, when I saw it, I'm like, is this by the same director? Because it's very much the same, almost to the fact where I feel like it's going to have the same twist. And spoiler alert, skip forward if you want to. But in Shutter Island, like, Leonardo DiCaprio ends up, he's not a detective. They made him think he was a detective so that he could live out his fantasy, so that hopefully he could realize he killed his wife and kids or something. So I don't know. It was a very complicated...
Cure his wellness.
But yeah, so I'm almost wondering if it's going to be sort of the same thing, because the trailer starts off, he's in this big, big building, and they're sending him somewhere for some reason.
He's supposed to grab somebody.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was, I don't know who, because it was like, they wrote a letter. Whoever did it wrote a letter, and the guy's like, yeah, he sounds insane, so they go to grab him to get him out of the insane asylum. I don't know.
Yeah. And so then the guy, I guess tries to get out of there after realizing how crazy the place is. Gets in a car wreck. They try to give him the cure, and all of a sudden he starts seeing, like, really effed up shit. Mm-hmm. Of course I can say shit, but I can't say fuck, apparently. And so obviously it makes him think, maybe I'm going crazy. No, I'm not going crazy. Then the one guy's all like, every time I turn my back, you're somewhere you're not supposed to. So he's trying to investigate at the same time they're trying to keep him prisoner, but it's like, we're here to help you. Why don't you come over here? So yeah, it definitely seems a little creepy. There's going to be a lot of thriller. So back to my point about Shutter Island, it almost seems like, is this going to be a similar twist where it's like, he was never the business guy going to get the lady. He's just been crazy this entire time.
Yeah.
And so he just fabricated everything to deal with how screwed up they're treated in that place.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, if they did that way, I hope not, because that just seems like a cheap shot, because it's already been done.
Right. And me personally, when I first saw the trailer for Shutter Island, I figured that twist out.
Oh, just by the trailer.
Just by the trailer, I'm like, yeah, he's not really a detective. And so I get the same vibes, and so I hope, as far as the story goes, it's intriguing enough, because, like, if they try to do that twist again, it's just going to be like, well, yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, it's like...
I recorded it.
Right. There's videography proof or something. I don't know. But even like in like something like 1408, he's in the hotel and he ends up getting away. But it's like, no, you're not away, dude. Yeah. Even at the end of the movie, I don't even know if he ever got away from that. But anyways, so hopefully they come up with a really good twist, and or they don't end it. Like, my personal pet peeve about certain, let me be very clear about that, certain thriller or horror movies is I hate it when, like, everybody dies at the end. Mm-hmm. Because, like, for me personally, it's like I'm watching these characters, I'm getting engaged in their struggle, I want them to survive, so them dying at the end is like me dying at the end of a level right before I'm about to beat the game. Mm-hmm. It's frustrating, and it's just like, why did I go through all this just to die here? Like, or maybe like a better allegory would be like if like you get to the end of a video game, but you have to buy the DLC to get to the true ending or something like that. So
ME3.
Right. So, yeah, I hope that doesn't happen either, because it seemed like that could be a pretty easy way to end it too. So hopefully it's just very...
And why is it, by the way, why is it called A Cure for Wellness? I mean, obviously we'll probably figure that out in the movie, but do you have any ideas of why? I mean, usually we find we want to cure something that is harmful to you, so why is wellness, whatever wellness is, harmful to you?
That's a good point.
So maybe that might be the twist, and the whole thing is you figure out, what is he trying to quote unquote cure with that eyedropper of brown liquid?
Yeah, maybe it's all the Matrix, and and the wellness is the programming telling you that everything's okay in the world. This is the real world. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a cool twist. Maybe not the Matrix, but something like that, where the cure for wellness is you're in a state of mind where you think everything is okay, but actually the world is,
Or everybody is insane. They just think that they're not.
Yeah, maybe.
In the whole entire world.
I don't know.
This is the cure. You do it, and it opens up, and this is what you're actually living in.
Oh God, yeah, that would be interesting. So all the messed up things that he's seeing isn't him hallucinating; it's him getting a glimpse into the real world.
Yeah,
that would be an interesting twist for sure. I mean, and it would explain the wellness like you were trying to get at. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, yeah, I'll rent it. I ain't going to the movie theater for it, but I'll rent it.
I'll get it a good Redbox try.
Yeah.
Alright, and I mean, that's it for Cure for Wellness. Are you excited to see it? Will you be watching it in theaters or Redboxing it? Let us know in the comments below. Up next, we're going to be talking about the dreaded shovelware.
Hi, this is Nick from the Deadly Operative Grunts show. Are you or someone you love a nerd? There are many warning signs that you can look out for. Are they really good at math or science? Do they celebrate strange holidays like May the 4th, Winter Eansmas, or Hobbit Day? Do they have heated discussions about the difference between a light year and a parsec? Do they claim to catch invisible creatures by going outside and staring at their phones? Do they often solemnly swear that they're up to no good? Or do they answer every question with the number 42? All these might point to you or your loved one being a nerd. At Repop Gifts, they're here to help. With a wide variety of items and a selection of one-of-a-kind works of art, you won't want to leave. Need to try something on? Then use their wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey changing room. Great for birthdays, holidays, or just to add to your collection. Repop Gifts near the corner of 31st and State.
We're back!
Dang it! Yeah, I guess
You were
we
taking
are.
a long time on that.
Alright, so now on Dog Talk, we're going to be talking about shovelware. Now, there is a couple of different versions of shovelware. One way to describe shovelware would be like the licensed games. So nowadays, a lot of the licensed games are coming like on your mobile phone. And so some company somewhere that has like literally two guys working on a video game somehow gets the license to a game, and they just throw something out to throw something out. They just shovel it out. And then another version of shovelware would be a video game just so bad, so ungodly. Why did they make this?
Unnecessary.
There you go. Why does this exist? So I mean, like, what do you think about it? What is its what is its blight on the gaming industry?
Well, I like to think of it nowadays as, if you go to, like, say, for instance, the PlayStation Store, or what's the Xbox have, the Marketplace?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you've already gone through all the movies at Redbox. Let's see, you know, what other movies they may have. And so you start going at the very end of the list. And they have, you know, G-rated movies. Or not G-rated, but G...
You knew it.
What is it? G-type, B...
B-movie.
Well, it's a B movie, but I wouldn't even call it a B movie. It's further down the list. You know what I'm saying?
It's a Z movie.
Yeah. And so when I think of shovelware, I just think of, like, they just start throwing games at you.
Yeah.
It used to be back in my day that, you know, when you went out to go back in my day, when you went out to go, you know, find a new game, you had 5 or 6 to choose from.
Yeah, definitely.
Now you're going, oh, let me find an action game. And you have this list that's, you know, all the good ones are up on top, 5 or 6 of them. And then you have hundreds of just crap, you know, and you go to your, you know, I want an action adventure, and you have something called Pixel Junkie on it or something like that. It's annoying. It's become, yeah, like the shitty movies of Redbox
right
in there.
Yeah, and I think what makes it bad for the industry is that it's just, it gives games a bad name. You know, like when we're sitting there and we're like I don't know, putting a game like Joe's Diner next to a game like even Slenderman. Slenderman is still kind of a B movie, but at least has purpose. Especially when they redid it for Slenderman: The Arrival. If you actually check out, we have a Let's Play of that where I scream like a little girl. And rightfully so. It is a very scary game. I mean, even though like all it is this guy, white face, he doesn't have any face. He's really tall, skinny, and just like your screen will start to get a little staticky. You'll turn, he'll be like right there. He won't like come at you or anything, but he'll just be right there and you're like, oh shit! Oh! But then putting a game like that next to Joe's Diner. Now, you saw the trailer for it. It is a nothing trailer. It doesn't tell you anything about the game because all it is like flashes of, you know, concept
Black
art.
and white.
Yeah.
Flashes of the diner.
Yeah. I mean, they don't show anything about it. So I actually had to go and look at a Let's Play of it. And so I guess he does say in the trailer, keep the tables clear and keep it quiet. That's all the instructions said. And so I watched the gameplay of it, and that is literally all that you do for the entire game. Is you just go around, you clear each table, you make sure nothing turns on, so maybe the jukebox turns on, or a hairdryer in the thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A vacuum. But then the payoff, the quote-unquote payoff, you know, the Slender Man, it flashes a chieftain picture on screen for like a second, and it's like game over. So it's like, it was funny because the Let's Play I happened to watch was this, it was an African-American guy, so he was very boisterous, and it was hilarious, I will admit. But that part came, he's like, oh wait, is that it? And so he actually started getting a little pissed off. Like, what the heck? It was pretty funny.
I spent money on this shit.
Yeah, and it's like, it's $20 freaking $20.
And see, that's the scary part about the whole game is $20.
That's the scary part. That's the punchline. So that's the jump scare for you. It's like, this was $20. But yeah, literally all you do is you pick up dishes, you put them in the thing, and you keep stuff quiet. That is the premise of the game. But it sets itself up like it's this scary game. The atmosphere is very, like, creepy. Like, the diner is very run down and dilapidated.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to, like, clean stuff up. And so just watching even a couple of minutes of this, I was like, okay, fast forward. Okay, what actually happens? And the more I fast forward, it's like more stuff turns on and you have to go turn that off. But that is the freaking game. It's like, oh my god, If there was ever an example of shovelware, it's that. Another example of shovelware is The Life of Black Tiger.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
What'd you think about that, Jim?
Oh, wow. Talk about another... I mean, that one's probably even more snoozy than Joe's Diner, honestly. At least in that one, you could walk around and kill things.
The only excuse I could think of this game existing is that it must have been a mobile game. Because it looks so bad. And
you're on the moon, by the way. You have to be on the moon, but go on.
You're on the moon?
We'll get to that later because of the physics of the game.
Oh!
You have to be on the moon, right?
Oh, God.
Watch the trailer or the gameplay.
Yeah, we'll link that as well because it is just, like, atrocious.
Yeah.
But, like, as far as I can tell, you're a black tiger and you live. And so this is the life of Black Tiger. And it's just so stupid because, it looks like worse than, I don't know, maybe PS2, but that's probably putting it nicely. It's like PS1.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's like the most boxy characters you've ever seen. And the physics, let's talk about the physics. So you'll have like...
Everything's flying.
One of the shots in particular I love is like there's like 5 wolves in front of you. You take one swipe, just one, and they all just kind of stiffen up and fly into the air. Like it was just like, oh my god! And then there was a fish, and it just falls down, and he just like picks it up in his mouth. It's just flopping around.
There's no gravity.
No.
Well, very, very little gravity at least.
Oh, gravity! Oh, it's a black tiger.
And then, but there is one shining thing throughout the whole video that I saw. Is he falls in love.
He does!
He falls in love with a smaller orange tiger, I guess. A real tiger.
Now who's being racist?
I'd rather watch Black Panther, honestly.
Oh my god, yeah, it's just, and I mean games like that. Then you go into the like if you go to PlayStation, go to PSN, or go to the Xbox Live, and if you can sort it by the rating. Make it so that it's the lowest rating up at the top, or if you can only have it the other way, then just go to the very, very bottom and just look at some of the trailers if they have some. That's the thing. Some of them don't even have trailers. It's just like,
That's how bad it is. They don't even want to show it.
Here's the world's worst description anybody could give anything, and you're supposed to make a purchase off of that.
Yeah.
And especially now that some of those are actually like $9.99, $19.99. Like, what?
They're flooding it. That's how I see. They're just flooding the. It's like, well, I want to make an extra buck.
Right.
So yeah. So
this took me a weekend.
There's nothing revolutionary about these games. I would assume. So.
I mean, the thing that's the worst is just that. Like, kind of what I was saying before, how it gives games a bad name. When you flood the market, that's not a good thing. Having such a plethora of choices, not like you said back in your day, Super Nintendo, they actually only had a certain number of cartridges that they would give to each of the developers. Mm-hmm. So they literally could only make so many games. And that's why there was no such thing as a release date, because it's like they put it out when it was ready. Mm-hmm. Whereas you have all these games, and there's even some AAA games that I can call shovelware. Because you have something like Mafia 3 that still has problems today, after patches, after everything. Then you have No Man's Sky, which I played. I do somewhat enjoy it, but that's just because I knew what a shit show I was walking into. So I think that kind of tempered my expectations.
Yeah. And you didn't pay $60 for it. Right?
Exactly. I only paid like $17 for it, and I bought it way after all the controversy. It came out with one of its very first Foundation updates. So that, according to a lot of the No Man's Sky, hardcore people, said that really made the game better. So for me, I was going into it better.
Yeah.
So, but even then, you go from planet to planet, you harvest, you shoot a laser at a rock.
Is there a story to that game, by the way, at all?
Well, yeah, but you kind of have to dig for it.
Do you? Okay.
It's not like you have objectives. It's not like you have. There is a path that you can follow, but once you follow that path, then you just do whatever. So
yeah,
it's not
you're
like
done, and it's open. You can go do whatever.
The objective is to get to the center of the galaxy, which almost everybody knows because they've probably been on YouTube for the past year. Everybody
Except
knows
for me.
that, not you. But when you get to the center of the galaxy, it's the last hyperdrive. You get there, you click on it, and all it does is zoom out. And it's supposed to be like this monumental, it's so deep. It means the meaning of life is just perilous. And so it just zooms out, and then you wake up on another fucking island.
It was a dream the entire time?
No. It just starts the game over again. It's not even like it's New Game Plus. It just starts the freaking game over.
So then you just go back to the center, or try to get back to the center, I guess.
No, you just keep getting new resources, upgrading stuff, getting more resources, upgrading stuff.
See, that sounds okay if you could play with other people.
Right! If you could. That sounds like a really good idea for an MMO!
Okay, we're getting off topic, though. Well, even though that...
It's completely on topic.
So, it came out as shovelware, but then it became better. Is that what you said?
I think it's still shovelware. Because it's really just mindless. It is so mindless. I tried, and obviously I don't have a really good ship, but I've tried getting into fights because there's just nothing else to do than explore and harvest. Explore and harvest. That's all. So I've tried getting in fights, but I'd go up and I'd start attacking a freighter. And so then they'd call in their thing and I'd attack them or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the way combat is, it's too hard. And I don't mean that as, this is challenging. Like Dark Souls. Dark Souls is challenging, but if I ever screw up, I know that it's because I did something wrong. Mm-hmm. Because everything is so meticulous. The way the enemies move, the way you move, you dodge, everything. You really have to think about what you're doing in order to really get through it. Mm-hmm. Whereas this, if I'm shooting at a thing, it's shooting back at me. My shields go down. I have to go into a different menu to recharge my shields. So they did make it quicker because now you can push down and then square, and as long as you have the material like iron for it, then it's a little bit quicker, but still I have to do down, square, X, or down, so I still have to basically stop everything. They're still shooting at me and I'm like, eh.
And it uses a material?
And it uses a material to refill
so
your
shields. You can only do it so many times.
Right, yeah.
What kind of technology is that? It has to use iron, by the way. If it is iron.
Yeah.
I guess it's the most common metal.
Imagine yourself hold on. You're rummaging through a chest and you're like...
Then we put some more garbage in this.
the juicinator on the
Juicinator.
DeLorean.
Yeah.
Just throwing trash in it. Fusion! Yeah. And I mean, not only that, but then you have other games that come out and they're broken because of online or something. I still count that as shovelware because... You're putting out a game, you knew it didn't work. There is no way out of, let's say every company has anywhere from 20 to 50, or if it's like EA where it's a huge, maybe they have 100 testers. You're telling me that that many people, their job is to literally break the game. That is their job. Obviously, they play it, and it's like, oh, I get early access. No, your job is to break the game. Your job is to jump on this spot 100 times to make sure that you don't fall through. Yeah. Like, you have this big laundry...
Hit every wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have this big laundry list of things that you're just supposed to, go up to this wall, melee this thing 5 times, do this. And you're telling me that out of 100 people doing that, reporting to you every move that they make in the game, you're telling me that you didn't know about this bug? No, I'm sorry. Now, something like Bethesda, like, that is a little bit... Well, I mean, I feel like we give them a pass, but that's just because everything's not necessarily, like, set in stone. It's more random. So, like, you don't know that a mammoth is going to go down a particular hill and fall down because maybe you've literally never seen that mammoth go down that particular hill. So, I mean, there are exceptions to the rules, but then there are other cases where it's a more, maybe a more closed world. It's still like an open world, like maybe GTA or something like that, but it's closed in the sense that everything does have more of an algorithm and stuff like that. And you still have instances where it comes out and it's completely broken and it doesn't work, or you try to get online and God forbid if you don't have the most perfect timing, because that's really, it's just timing and luck. That, you know, you didn't try to dial the server at the same time that somebody else tried to dial the server. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. I mean, and I still count that as shovelware, because it's like, why put the game out? Why put the game out unfinished?
Because they want as much money as they can. Yeah.
And I mean,
that's you're right. That's shovelware. It is.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
all money grabbing.
It's bad for the industry to have so many games out there, because it's just, it's too much. You know, we don't need that much games. Nobody will ever play every single game in a lifetime. Nobody. And not only that, but if you got rid of 50% of the stuff, nobody would notice.
Exactly.
Nobody would go on looking for Durkas and, oh, it's not here anymore. I wanted to buy that.
Yeah.
I think the thing that sucks the most at this point in time is that I felt like it was very prevalent on the PC and even more so, way more so on the mobile. But now, because of the infrastructure of the PlayStation 4, of the Xbox One, we're actually getting a lot more of them. Like, we had them on the PlayStation 3. You had your PSN games that were just crappy, but now we're just getting flooded. Absolutely flooded.
Yeah, and I see it as the one in the PlayStation 3. They were using those type of games to try to further, you know, what we've already established in our gaming culture, or you know, what we did. You know, they were trying to push the bar, and they didn't want to do it with heavy graphics and stuff that would slow it down, so they would dial these back, and they would try to make something new that no one's ever seen before.
Right. And
yeah, now they're just, it's gotten out of hand. It's like the movie industry has taken over the gaming industry, in my mind. Yeah. It's like, let's just start throwing out crappy stuff as fast as we can.
See what sticks to the wall.
Yeah, see how much money we can get. And if it doesn't work, oh well. We got more crappy games to try to make money off of, so.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, then you have like the licensed games, so that's the other side of the spectrum. So you have like a licensed game, and they make it just to capitalize on a game or a movie that happens to be coming out. So they don't care about the characters, they don't care about the story. All they care about is get it out at the same time that the movie comes out. You know, and those are just as bad, because games like Batman Arkham Asylum, hopefully the new Spider-Man, it's not tied to a movie. So hopefully that'll make it better. Even the Transformer games that weren't tied to a movie, like the War on Cybertron or the Fall of Cybertron, something like that, those didn't attach themselves. They made references to the TV shows, obviously. They were attached to movies, so to speak, but they existed on their own, and therefore they could flourish. Whereas when you have a licensed game and it has to adhere to, you know, certain things, like there's a new like Godfather mobile game, and it's pretty much just like any kind of Farmville where you just put up a building, you get money from it. Put up a armory over here, you get guns from it. And it's just, but it's Godfather. Who out there was going, we need a mobile Godfather game. I cannot wait to play a mobile Godfather game.
Yeah.
And somebody saw that and they were like, oh my God, they finally answered my prayers. It's like, no, they made that, they put Godfather on the title because they knew somebody out there would be like, oh my God, Godfather 2 is my favorite movie of all time. This must be good.
Yeah, let's buy the game. Yeah.
And they get that one person, and just because they're nostalgic about that one movie, they're like, okay, well, here's some microtransactions if you want this to go a little bit smoother.
Yeah. It's like they're taking a page in a way, or some of them are taking a page like, because if you remember right, Mario Brothers 2 and on the NES wasn't originally a Mario Brothers game. They bought the rights of whatever game it was supposed to be, and then just inputted Mario characters into it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why it's so different compared to all the other ones. And it still made a shit ton of freaking money back then.
Right.
Probably not as much as the other ones do, but and that's where it's like that's probably how they're doing it now. A game will come out and has absolutely nothing to do with, say, for instance, Godfather, and they'll just slap the Godfather tag on it, put in a couple little references to Godfather, and then see how much money they can get out of it.
Right. And I mean, there's this one game that came out. It was like an isometric, 360 shooter, and originally the character was supposed to be Duke Nukem. But since they couldn't get the rights to Duke Nukem, they just switched it to a girl, but she's still, like, very masculine and like, let's go kill stuff! And it's like, okay. So it's really weird.
What does he say? I'm the queen, baby?
I'm the queen. Suck my clitoris.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So not to be sexist, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so anyways, I mean, that's what we think about the shovelware. What was the worst purchase you ever accidentally made? I think mine was... I don't know. Can you think of one while I think, or...
I can think of the most recent one.
Okay, what's the most recent one?
Technomancer.
Technomancer, okay.
I was really looking forward to it because I'm an RPG fan, so I was really looking forward to it. It looked like it had, some potential to it. Supposedly open world on Mars. Mm-hmm. It just turned out to be a load of crap. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was like, come on, even the combat system, could that even be good? No, the combat system's really slow. It just turned out, I was sad. I spent money on this. I was sad. I wanted to rip the game out of my console if I could.
Right.
Get rid of it.
So, I mean, on that matter, the most recent one for me would have to be How to Survive 2.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play it, but more out of an obligation because I spent $14 on it. And there are, I guess, certain aspects, as long as you just kind of, like right now I'm just kind of brain dead playing it. I just want to see, does it get good? Because I know there's supposed to be raids in it. Are the raids going to make it better? So really I'm just playing it to, wait for the next big game, which is Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, that's really the only reason I'm playing it. Otherwise, I completely stand by my burn. I want to burn it. It's just so bad. To put the How to Survive name on it is just an insult, because the How to Survive was a good game.
Yeah.
And this is just, it has certain things that are the same, but they just went in a different direction. I don't really like it. Another one for me would have to be 7 Days to Die.
I played that with you. Yeah. I tried.
Oh my god, so bad. And what made it so bad is that it had already been out, kind of like How to Survive, It had already been out for like 3 years on the PC, so you think they would fix their stuff before they put out a disc that you had to buy.
Yeah.
But what made it the most frustrating thing about it wasn't like the gameplay. The gameplay was fine. It was like Minecraft where you had to like, cut down a tree, and that was fine. But like every minute or every minute and a half, it would stop for a full second and then keep going. So like, let's say I'm chopping wood, chop, 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 chop. Another minute would go by.
Like lag.
Another minute would go by. I'm like trying to hit a zombie. I'd be like, and I'm like, what the hell? This is, and it's like maybe top PlayStation 2 graphics, bottom PlayStation 3 graphics. Not that complex. The only thing complex about it is how big it is and the fact that you can pretty much dig into the earth. That's the only thing that's complicated about it. So there's going to be a lot of algorithms and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason. But I still think this could have been on the PlayStation 3. I mean, they have Minecraft on there. This is pretty much just Minecraft, only instead of blocky graphics, it's slightly realistic graphics. But even then, it's like, why did it take just...
When I played it with you, I had the problem of where the map would just, like, I'd be walking, and then all of a sudden the map would turn gray, and I'm not on land anymore.
No, right, I remember
and I'm like,
that.
how do I get out of this? I can't get back onto land. I can't cross the gray zone.
Yeah. So, I mean, back to you guys. What is your game that you accidentally bought and it ended up being just like one of the worst games you ever played and you regret it? Let us know in the comments below. That's the Deadly Operative Grunts show for you today. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Deadly Operative Grunts, or on Twitter at Deadly Op Grunts. Make sure to share this with everybody. Let's get the word out there that you got a good Idaho group out there fighting the good fight. So thank you for watching today. This is the Deadly Operative Grunts, and we're feeling squirrely.
Triple threat.